Welcome. This is a brief introduction here to the fluids, the body fluids that we inhabit, and that, importantly, are not just a bunch of water flowing around. The body fluids are carriers of consciousness and structure, function, and as we know, with every cell in the body being aware, as we know, I'm talking yoga now, I'm not talking, I don't know what other people think, but I know what the yoga teaching is, that every cell is awake and alive. Every cell is a microcosm of the whole. And what we also know is that every cell is different from the other. And every cell carries with it its own consciousness. And its consciousness is flowing and alive inside of us at all times. And whether we recognize it directly or not, what we find is that the consciousness of these body fluids manifest into our actions. You know, we think it's our brain or something, but the whole thing is doing it all the time, right? So in yoga, we have a template. We have the template that when we come into manifest form, we become a weave of consciousness and form, consciousness and structure. So we also have, as part of this map, the map of Sankhya Yoga, says that as we manifest, we are also taking on all of these different elements of structure, and that they are from the most subtle to the most dense. Now, what we are finding over and over again, those of us who are working at the study of yoga from the body, what we're finding over and over again is that the fluids of our body that are flowing inside have different densities. And as they have different densities, they have different qualities of consciousness that express. So they would be, from the top, space, air, fire, water, and the place where it's all planted into our most dense structure, earth. So the fluids that we are looking at, I'll just, a quick overview. We have blood, we have marrow, we have fat, we have lymph, we have synovial fluid, we have cerebrospinal fluid, and they all have different densities. So probably the most dense of the fluids would be marrow, right? That thing that we will say, I feel it in my bones, right? And then right there with marrow would be blood. These are very dense, human feeling elements. Then we would have fire. Oh, I gotta do things. We need to get things done. We need to make this body be healthy. We gotta act in the world. And one of those elements would be lymph, or element is fire. The fluid is lymph. The lymph says, this isn't right. I got it, and now I'm gonna take it and I drain it away, right? It's like that. It's not, oh, I'm so happy. It's, oh, you need that. We need that. I have a lot of it. So that's one that we're going to look at today. And then the other one that we're going to look at is the interstitial fluid. So we're going into this fiery, self-protective, focused lymph. And then we're going into maybe one of, not the most, but one of the most spacious of the elements. So when we think space, we're thinking wide consciousness. It's not so much all about me and staying alive and feeling what I feel. It's, oh, and that? And the blending of this, of course, these fluids, is the place where, as human beings, we live. So, how do fluids move in your body? Why does the lymph go, move? Stuff like that. What's going on here? Why does everything down in the pelvis want to go down and out? What's going on? Well, we know again, in yoga, we have the prana vayus. And they too relate to the elements. The elements is like the master plan of embodiment is the elements. So down at the base, we have earth. And up in the chest, we have air. So this would be the prana vayu, the aspect of prana that relates to air and is expansive. And this one down here would be earth, and it's apana. And the prana and the apana are in a magnetic relationship with one another all the time. And so are the other elements in magnetic relationship with one another all the time. This magnetism, this lively magnetism, creates the ability of the vayus, the winds of prana, to take the fluids and help them to do their thing, which is a lot. All right, so today, let's look at lymph. Now, the lymph fluid, is the stuff, the fluid that flows in the lymph vessels. I'm not going to give the whole science. I can't. I would love to. You know how excited I get about it all. But I'm just going to give you the keys for embodiment. The lymph fluid is where we get all of the little toxins and the extra stuff that's a little bit too big for the blood to carry around. And the lymph draws from the sea of fluid in the body, which we would call the interstitial sea, the interstitial layer, and it goes, oh, okay, well, that's a little big. Let's bring that in. Lymph vessels don't go both ways. They don't go like blood vessels. They just go, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to take it up, and I'm going to take it through, and this is magnetism again, and movement, and I'm going to dump it back in the heart so that it can have another chance at clearing itself up, right? So that's lymph. It's this very, the lymph fluid and the lymph vessels. Vessels are different than the fluid, but 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay. The tissue through which this interstitial fluid is flowing is next to lymph, right? And the interstitial fluid is much brighter. and lighter. It can't carry all these big, messy things that, that just come. They're messy, they come, they go. They can't carry them. So they will diffuse from the interstitial fluid into the lymph vessels, and then the lymph will take it away and clean it up. So meanwhile, the interstitium has this much brighter and lighter awareness. It's made of the interstitial tissue, the interstitial system is made of space and collagenous and elastic fibers at a microscopic level, and within the space that the interstitial tissue contains, this very clear liquid is everywhere in the body. This clarity relates to space and air. We find the elements that we so often look for in yoga, the clarity, the brightness, the largeness of perception. We find it as an embodied experience everywhere. And the difference of the fluid of the lymph is that it is going out to get stuff and it's keeping us healthy, important stuff. Now, before we move with this, which we're going to do very soon, I just want to show you, I was thinking about this morning because it's quite a good model of the interstitium and the lymph vessels. So the interstitium, you see how this is a sea sponge, of course, and it's wet. It's a wet world in there. Now, if it were wetter, I could squeeze it and it would drip and flow and all that stuff, but I've just got it a little bit moist to keep it so that I can see how, it's this soft, mobile structure that connects through the whole body, continuously through the whole body, and houses the most refined of the fluids. Not the most refined, there's cerebrospinal fluid, which is crystal clear, and then there's interstitial fluid. And what's amazing about this sea sponge to me is that this interstitial area where flow is happening, there's also these tubes going through it, which might be something like the lymph vessels, because the lymph vessels down at their little ends are going to pick up the larger molecules that sully the purity of the interstitial fluid and carry it away. Point being, our body holds this awareness, this clarity, and we want to know, right? I know you want to know. I know we want to know. You wouldn't be here otherwise. All right, so let's begin, and this is going to be a practice, of course, and maybe shorter chunks that might yield the most sensitivity. These are practices. None of this stuff is easy. You're not going to remember, roll this up, roll this down, and roll that there, and then push here. You can remember that, right? Maybe if you write it down, you do it a few times. This is not about remembering. This is about this inner journey. And one of the big keys in my experience so far to feeling it is to understand, that means in the body, that flow is from magnetism. It didn't just decide to go somewhere. It's relational. So this interstitial flow is soft and relational. The consciousness of space, and its friend is lymph. Get that? Don't worry, I got it. Very different, right? Okay, so let's begin, and I have a plan so I can make this in an hour and 15. Let's begin, and we're going to begin with pranayama. And the reason we're going to begin with pranayama is that we create this central magnetism of the apana and the prana. We're going to begin with some full breaths, and then we're going to take the Kapalabhati breathing, which is the one where we go. If you've never done it before, you'll learn it over time, but we're going to do it now. All right? So find a comfortable seat, and I mean comfortable. There is no gain in trying to sit in a cross-legged or sit in any particular position. I always have a chair handy, and I'm hoping that you will, if you're more comfortable that way, take a chair. I'm going to sit on a block, on the floor, and you can sit any way that you like. All right? And as you settle in, bring your hands, palms down to the thighs, and just touch for a moment, allowing these warm, wet hands. You look for it. Are they warm? Are they wet? Maybe, maybe not. They can be. Warm, wet, soft, heavy. Heavy. We know that this is the apana vayu down here, and it draws life in. And we know that this is the prana vayu up here, and that it brings us up and out. So first thing, all that we're going to do is a big full breath and retain the breath using the chin lock at the top of the breath if you know it. All right? So with hands on thighs, take a normal inhalation followed by a normal complete exhalation, and then one full yogic breath from way down in the base, all the way up to the top, chin lock, chest lifting, retain the breath. 1, 2. Release the breath slowly. You'll retain the breath softly at the end of exhale for 2 counts. Stimulates apana, and then relax, breathe normally. So we're looking at this, we're feeling for it. We don't even need to feel it. The technique works. As you train your attention, you get more and more of the gifts of it. Let's do it again. Take an inhale just to be ready, and a full exhale. All the way out, and then full inhale all the way to the top, chin to chest, Jalandhara Bandha, retain the breath, 2, and slow exhale if you can, all the way out through the nose to the finish, and 1, 2, relax, breathe normally. So these pauses are kind of like compressing and increasing the dynamism. All right, let's do it again. Exhale all the way to empty and take a full deep breath in. Retain the breath at the top, Jalandhara Bandha, chin lock. pelvic bandha if you know it, and then release the containers, go all the way out at the finished pause, 2, and then relax, breathe normally. So this is the apana and the prana. We're stimulating. Now we're going to give it a little fire. So it's the Kapalabhati, and Kapalabhati is where you hit the diaphragm, part of the belly, in to pump the breath out, and there's a passive inhale between each pumping. So it's the fire element. It's in there, and there are vayus there, right? The samana vayu, fire, heating, getting things done. All right, so here we go. Take an inhale, followed by a full exhale, just to be ready. And now as you're inhaling, full breath all the way to the top, and I'll give you a count if you want it. Good, and then release that, listen. As you're inhaling, full breath into the top again, retain the breath with the chin lock, not lock. And release the breath, release the lock. Relax, breathe normally, and feel what you have. Feel your body. Last one. Take an inhale to be ready. Exhale all the way out. Inhale, deep breath in. Retain. And Kapalabhati. Good. Release the process. Take a nice, easy inhaling breath. And relax. Breathe normally. Maybe you feel some more tingling, some more awareness in the body. Of course, this is prana. And of course, it's moving around, it's drawing things. All right, going to the lymph now. The lymph, which is this very personal immunity, you know, like, let's move the lymph. It tends to get stuck, right? It gets stuck, it gets congested, right? So I do every day a simple lymph massage. Now this lymph massage that we're going to do takes me sometimes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, only because it feels so good, not because I'm timing anything. But right now we're just going to do the technique, right? So begin with me. Take your hands open soft. Take my glasses off for now. And bring them up. We're going to start in the brain and the brain. Take them up, and this is a soft touch release. You're not massaging in the way that you would think. It's an energetic massage. It's a touch, feel, and release. And you're going to go all the way around your head. Now, how to train your sensitivity here. When you touch, feel the touch inside. Don't get caught thinking about the hands or how you're touching. Just let yourself feel there's a touch. Something happens in there. It's actually the pulsing, I think, pulsing of the lymph and the lymphatic glial brain liquidity, pumping, releasing. And take it down. Very sensitive, of course, at the ears and the face. So there's nervous system in there too. Now, nervous system actually follows the fluids. Fluids came before nervous system. The fluids were there, and they taught the nervous system where to go. So again, everything's my opinion. I'm a yogi. All right, and you feel you go down, and down the sides of the neck. Oh, a little heaviness there. You may feel some draining. And then to the collarbones, put a little weight on the collarbones. That feels so good. And then touching here where the lymph vessels will go and drain into the heart. All right? Okay, now we're going to go quickly through the rest of it. And it is touching the one hand and the arm with the same, when you do it on your own, go slow and feel. Feel in your body tissues, not touch, touch, touch. Feel. As you get up here, of course, you get into lots of lymph nodes, right? And they can get kind of stuck. So you just, yeah. And again into the heart. And then the other side. So you may find that as you do this, that the sensing and feeling of fluid inside does change how you move, right? There's different qualities going on here in the movement. And here again, we've got the axial lymph nodes in there, and we've got this, to the heart. The legs, we'll do them quite quickly now because I want to do everything. The legs from the feet, one at a time. One. And as you get into the groin, there again, It's a deep inner touch, but it's very soft. And then up the sides of the body, again to the same place where all the lymph vessels will come to dump into the heart. Other leg. This is really a practice. It took me quite a while in my own practice to feel the power of this. So I give it to you as an invitation to explore. If you like, if you want to move lymph in your body so that it doesn't get too congested, you may want to take this as a practice. And then up, 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 up. And again. And then the central channel, so we can actually get even more into these very, there are a lot of lymph nodes in here, so you can take it up, touch, release, bring it up, same channel, it's all going up together here, and down and into the heart. All right. Okay, let's come to standing. And what I'd like to do here in standing is just continue to get a little more of the fluidity, the touching through movement of the body fluid so that we can get in and differentiate. That's kind of what we do. All right, so coming into standing, we'll jiggle a little bit. This is perfect. Body fluids are not, let's go interstitial fluid because that's the whole body. And the interstitial fluids, if you think about them and feel for them, that when you jiggle them, you can mix them up. You see, I got a little bit more wetness here, and I'm just kind of jiggling them and letting them mix up a bit. And it's through everything. It's through your whole body. So many, many ways to approach this in terms of movement. And one of the ways is also to spin. So you can spin in such a way that you feel this whole body kind of awareness. This is the interstitial thickness, right? Are you with me a little bit? Enters the mind of the interstitium. Let yourself stand and imagine, notice, feel the space inside of you. The space. This weave. You can keep moving certainly if it's more helpful for you, or feeling the space. So at the level of this spacious fluid structure, the interstitium with its bright liquid, like the bright clarity of awareness flowing in it, at that level, our senses are fairly well turned inward. And one of the ways we can calm our senses to go inward is to soften the eyes and allow the eyes to look for the space instead of a thing. Allow your eyes to receive, and as you receive, in a way, you receive space. All right? Now let's go to the other fluid that we're looking at. So these are whole body templates of movement, right? So this other fluid is the lymph. And as I am hoping to bring you into this exploration, as I am moving from space, which would be yogically ananda, that blissful sheath, as I am moving through that into more density of fluid and hotter fire, and I'm not just receiving anymore, I'm on the lookout. Now we're moving into the lymphatic system. In the lymphatic system and the lymph fluid, we're clear. You're clear. This is fire, lymph. I have things to do, right? Things to do. Also at the level of the consciousness of fire and this kind of a fluid body, at that consciousness it's me. I, me, mine. This is about me. I don't want to get sick. I'm going to get that pathogen. I'm going to get rid of it. The trick becomes, the yoga of it becomes, can I be both? Can this personal human, you, me, can we have both without needing to deny and without even needing to only go to one? All right? So let's say, what if we do a Trikonasana posture? Right? So let's go from this sense of the amorphous, the presence of the interstitium, the body that moves like this. That body that moves like this. And you step out, right? And the interstitium gives you, why do you care? Because it's consciousness. That's why you care. It's also health. It's also vitality, but it's consciousness. And it's an invitation to having the kind of consciousness that we go after in yoga, for example, and in many spiritual practices. The invitation is to not just feel it here, know it here, but know it in there. So it could take you a while to get to Trikonasana, triangle posture, and your triangle posture might not look quite the same as it sometimes does, which is obviously 100% fine. Yeah, so the look here, part of this particular interstitial field and flow is that there really are no joints. We've gone under the joints, you see, so that if I'm coming here, if you're coming here, and I'll move with my joint, it's fluid. It's not a bad movement. It's very nice and fluid, and it has its own consciousness. But what if we say, okay, I got that, I can do that. Now what if I say, but I want to flow from, it's different. It feels different. It feels thicker. Doesn't even know if it wants to raise its arm right now, you know? All right, now play with me a little more here and bring your feet around facing forward. And we're kind of changing the quality here of my sponge. In fact, you could pick up something heavy. I'm going to grab something heavy. You could take just a block. It's heavy enough. I'm going to grab something over here that is nice and heavy. Whoa, it's heavy. You know, gravity is tremendously, really pushes on us strongly. So I've got this very heavy thing, and you can hold anything. But what I'm asking you to look at here is the condensing that is present in this lower body center. It's firmer. Are you with me on that? It doesn't need to be. You could make it light and do other things with it. But right now we're looking at the Apanavayu and the wind that draws thick and heavy down into our lower center, and that we can transfer into the earth. When we're standing, you can transfer it into the earth, the heavy. Not pushing down on the pelvic floor, of course, ever, but, right? Heavy. All right? And then up here, we're back at this thing of the magnetism. This is not just, this is how you breathe. This is not just, this is how you breathe. You breathe because of the magnetism. You breathe this way. So the lower is drawing the prana, the air, into it. And as it does, the thoracic diaphragm is descending. Oh, they're coming together, drawing, descending, rooting down. I'm doing this to show, but this is to feel. So we practice yoga, we learn things like Mula Bandha, we learn things like Kapalabhati, we learn all these things in order to take us into this inner world. And I'm proposing that we can do that. As we are who we are, all of us. All right? Now, from up here, inhale, rise, 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 rise. And as you're exhaling, bring your hands down and onto your pelvic bones. Any way you like, right? Here's the density. The density draws the breath. We're going into Prasarita Padottanasana. The density draws the breath. Inhale. There's the determination. Inhale. And you're up with the arms, but you're down in the body. Where's the fire? Inhale again, and as you're exhaling, come up, out, and over, and go into this fire center here. Feel for that. You can feel from your pranayama how the fire is right in the center here between the air and the earth. Now, once down, and you inhale to slide out into what would be like the prep for this posture, slide out. Bring your hands onto your thighs and wait here for a moment. The inhale is still being drawn by the apana, and the exhale is being released outward by the prana. Inhale into the pit of the belly. Exhale, release. Now this time you're going to come into almost to Uddiyana Bandha. That's what you're going to do. Inhale, right? And exhale, full breath out. And when you do, just hold the breath out and suck the deep belly into the back abdominal wall. No big deal. And then relax and take another full inhale, wave out. And this time, bring yourself forward, releasing the whole central channel and reversing it. Now the earth is up and the prana is down. And the magnetism continues. 3 breaths here. Feel what you got. You can move a little bit. No one ever said you need to stay in the exact position in a yoga posture. Yoga postures are about toning and balancing. They're not about succeeding in having a great shape. Inhale, come about halfway up. As you're exhaling, place your hands into your belly again and feel how it involutes. Then inhale, open your arms out to the sides like you're flying from this air element, from the interstitial weave, and then push into the earth. Reach all the way up as you inhale, interstitial, no joints in other words, and lots of fluid condensing as you exhale. Right? So there's one way. That's for more interstitial journey, this more spacious journey. It's not better, by the way. You need it all. I thought space was some ultimate thing for a long time. I hope you don't think that. Well, you can think that if you want. Maybe it is. But I don't feel that anymore. I feel like this other stuff is just as good. All right, so step your feet together. We're going into the energy of the lymph. I gotta go get this thing. I gotta go get it. It's like a sentry in the body or something. It's like, let's just watch out because something might need taken care of, right? So from that consciousness, from a linear looking outward, looking back in, reflecting back in, but eyes on the horizon here, from there, Trikonasana, step apart. Is it going to be different? It's that mind of taking care of me here. Linear. I have a single focus. And then I'll bring my hands into my pelvic bones and directional changing. The lymph is saying, okay, you go over there, and it's the mind of the lymph which changes the movement. I need to rotate this one back, and then it's the mind of the lymph that goes through that one as well. Hands coming to Anjali Mudra as you turn. And the inhale, linear, going somewhere, getting it done, ready. And the exhale, clarity, looking, taking the information in, a little self-protective. How often are our yoga postures a little self-protective, like we learn to harden into one shape or another? There's no posture, there's no shape that's wrong, but you don't want to be hard in it. And you don't want it all to be that linear, muscular, whatever that is. All right, now come up with the lymph. So that's going to be the mind of, there's something over there and I got to go. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Back at center, the eyes, the fire, the sense of the fire element is sight. Go around and go the other way and see. The mind of the lymph is, I got to see what's happening. It's in every part of your body. Inhale, wide. And exhale, clear, central, focused. Lymph is focused. And then inhale. Your posture will look different from mine. And then exhale. I'm still looking around here. I'm still on the journey of seeing what needs to be done. I need my fire. Make sure it gets done right. That's lymph. Make sure it gets done right. You can get very, very caught in that mind, as you know. All right, and then inhale and bring it up. And exhale, bring it together. And then find your journey. You don't need to leave one out and stay with the other, right? Ultimately, we're looking for a weave of all aspects of self. So come into Tadasana. Once again, feel the downward pull of the Apana Vayu, the upward pull, the rising of the Prana Vayu, and the relational attraction and continuity of movement. So this is movement in the core, and it's this, all of the vayus are also in every cell of the body. It's the microcosm, macrocosm principle of using our bodies as the laboratory for exploring life itself. So it's not just here, but it's also here. Do it with me. So you can see that's not about a specific movement. That's the expanding in the direction and the condensing back. And that's what it feels like. It's not just straighten your muscle, reach, come back, pull into you, whatever. It's this interstitial fluid. Once it, and the interstitial, interstitium, the structure, once that gets freed, the ability to elasticize comes in. Let's do the other side like that. So it's so then the question becomes, if you're reaching with your arm, do you usually just reach with your arm? If you reach with your arm and you integrate it, do you then usually reach with your shoulder as well? Oh, then if that's happening, do you generally reach then with your lung and your shoulder? Even that is not necessarily this quality of condensing and expanding that has no end in the body. The differentiation's fun, and it teaches you, you learn to feel by differentiating. Differentiation underlies unity. We gotta figure it out. And it's not figure with your brain, it's figure it out, right? All right, let's come down to seated now. And you may want to have, I just rolled my very heavy ball across the room. You may want to have a strap of some kind. So I'm going to, you can do this without a strap, but it's nice to have handy. I'm going to use this kind of strap that stretches, but you can use any kind of strap, a regular yoga strap, a scarf, doesn't matter. All good. And we're going to come down to seated. To the best of your ability with your legs wide. So this is one of the times when you could go to a chair any of you, you know, one thing can happen or another. Like I had hip replacement surgeries. You may need to use a chair at one point or not, but you have that option. And all of these postures can be adapted to the chair, so please do that. I need to... I need to something or other. Let me fix this. All right. Now. Okay, so legs wide. To begin, strap is near in case you want it. So these are postures, you know, the Kapalabhati is very good for all of the lymph system in the torso. And what you can feel very clearly here is when you take your legs wide, you're also getting a tremendous possibility of stimulating into these lymph glands down in the pelvis. And one of the things we can do is just condense and reach. So you can do it with your breath. You can inhale. I'm condensing up and through, touching into these glands, giving them the stimulation, saying, it's okay, guys. And then release. You feel? Can you do it? Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then let it go and bring one of your legs in, into something like this, right? Again, this can be managed on a chair. I want to say that for sure. And you're something like this. And you see this asymmetry here. The two sides of the lymph system. Let's turn toward the bent leg. Now, if we turn around our core channel, we're actually pivoting right around the outer banks here of the core, and we're right in there with all of this lymph section. So look for it. Is there a quality of service to you in there? Without it, wouldn't be so good, right? You gotta have it. And then what if you take your gaze around behind the back shoulder and really focus your gaze all the way to the corner of your eye. So you've brought in the fire sense here. We've got the fire element. We've got the action, the mind of the lymph. And we've got the fact that the whole thing's happening in fluid. Breathe. That focused gaze all the way to the far corner of your eyes, and be sure you're using both eyes. One might be lazy. And then as you're inhaling, you continue with your eyes and let the gaze come around as you come around and turn toward the extended leg now. So we're spinning through those same structures here. We've still got this stimulation in here. Now we're going to go forward. Needn't be far. This is when, if you like, you can use a strap. I'm not going far, and I'm not going to use the strap. Inhale. And exhale. As you're inhaling, you can play with, I got some, feel tightness in here that I usually think of as muscle or something. But what if I pulse in there with a little bit of movement, and imagine, notice, feel, oh, I wonder how the lymph glands are involved there. Pulsing on them. Pulsing. You don't have to be doing a big movement, just pulsing. And then maybe you exhale and go a little bit further. Nice, easy, deep breathing, and now allowing the breath to spread for the tissues of the interstitium to be calling for the breath and receiving. And inhale, you come up, go down in the earth to support, rise up, find that place of going nowhere, just present. Take your time. Good. And then let's take the same leg, this leg out. I'm going to need a prop over here on my right leg this time. So come on right to the center. And maybe you like to, play around with going forward a little bit here. And again, the pulsing of the legs, all the way up through the legs, into the groins. Oh. All right. And then come back up with an inhale. Support, support, support through your legs. Support with your whole body. Inhale and come up. And then let's take the other leg. So this is my recently, 3 months now, hip replacement, and it's taking its own sweet time. So this is my position for inhaling and exhaling, turning. I think we turned toward the bent leg, did we? Or was it the other way? Turn. Is it right or whatever? Whatever it is you're doing, do it.
The bent one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what have you got here? So part of the practice of learning to really inhabit the consciousness and the radiance and the muck of the body is to just say, what have I got here? Without craving, I want to make this right, I'm going to improve myself. Just, where am I? Oh, I'm going to touch in my lymph a little bit because that helps me be healthy. And turning. And then the gaze, right? That gaze behind all the way, very focused, both eyes. Yep. And then to come around, spinning through that two sides here, to come all the way around, and then turning toward the extended leg. Again, I'm going to need to scoot in a little bit. Turning toward the extended leg. Inhale. Goes all the way down. And exhale. Out. The dynamic in the core. And the same dynamic everywhere else. Every tissue group, every cell, it's all moving and breathing from the magnetism of the gift of life here, of the prana vayus. And primal form. your original form. When you first got structure, this began, and it all happened in the fluids. The fluids were first. The fluids held the information. This is yoga perspective. A certain take on embryology because the fluids are first, and then the differentiation goes. So we've got that here, and the magnetism gets more complex, and it expresses through different densities, layers of consciousness and form. And inhaling, come up. And exhaling, turn. Extend. Let's go a little bit forward here. And again, you never have to just come into a position. That coming into a position and setting is a very fiery kind of thing. The mind of knowing that movement is okay, and that when the external movement isn't there, the internal movement is still there because you're alive. Inhale. As you're exhaling, come out toward the center. And just play with it. Your breath. When there's a little bit of tightness anywhere, it can be very useful to go to the interstitium, not to pull on a strand, a thin strand, but to soften back off of it just a little and let that pulsing action, not pushing, pulsing action help you. All right, and then as you're inhaling, come up the way you want to, however that is. And we'll bring the legs around together and set yourself up for Shavasana. So have your comfort products. You can come all the way down without products, without pillows and bolsters and things, and just lay this whole body down. Have your bolsters, whatever you need, make yourself really comfortable, and then lay this whole body down. Letting go the effort of paying attention. So in this kind of work, it's not just the effort of the mind paying attention. It's the effort. Effort's okay. It's the effort to let your body learn to pay attention also. In yoga, we call this process of paying attention and releasing abhyasa and vairagya. Abhyasa is the focus, the practice, the discipline. Vairagya is the complete letting go of that. It's very clearly stated in yoga that those two aspects have to be there for practice to be effective. the resting, the release of the clinging, the release of the effort, the allowing of yourself to just be without need to improve or do anything, just be.